Yo, what's up? Still living that quarantine life. Comment, like, subscribe. How's everyone doing? Oof. Go to patreon.com/ Champagne Sharks. Subscribe. $5 a month. You get access to Champagne Sharks podcast. You get access to newsletters, which we're working on right now. Making the most out of quarantine time. For people wondering where the episodes are, we've kind of fallen behind with all the quarantine stuff and different things. But honestly, it was just too stressed out to really focus. But we've started recording again. Things are being edited, and there's going to be a bunch of stuff that comes out at once. So don't worry about that. We're still going to get our 8 episodes of the month out. So no worries about that. How's everyone doing in this crazy time? How's it going, Sean? How's everyone feeling? Let me just go online and let people know that we are live before we get started. Just bear with me for a while. But in the meantime, y'all, let me know how y'all holding up during this quarantine time. What you guys are doing. If you guys are with your significant others, driving each other crazy. If you guys are single and lonely, overloading on porn, you know, whatever. If you guys just don't care and are going out every day and roaming the streets like Dawn of the Dead, I want to hear it all. I want to hear how y'all are doing. Whew. Okay. Just tweeted to the family that we are streaming live. Yeah, so everybody like, subscribe if you're not already liked and subscribe. And you know the deal. Yakub, I love that name, said, my cousin got back from Florida and brought her sick friend over to our house. Oh, goddamn. Do y'all know if she is sick with the corona or if she's just sick and y'all are worried she has the corona? I mean, I'm guessing y'all don't know because those tests are not really available like that. Oh man, Yakub said we don't know. Damn, man. Oof. I wish y'all the best, man. Oof. Sean says, I'm good living in the San Francisco Bay Area, sheltering in place. Man, last time I went to the Bay, I used to go to the Bay like about a year apart each time I went. And man, each time I go, there were visibly less black people every time. And last time I went, it wasn't until I went to Oakland, I saw like one black person. It was crazy. Uh, when I was in the San Francisco proper, there were no black people around except there was one black gay guy working in our hotel, and like that was it. Oh, I didn't know that. It said B. Scott said a negative on the test doesn't mean you don't have it. Is that true? I'm woefully underinformed on. I'm just gonna wait a little while before we get started, but I'm home, quarantine, bored, and we've been trying to catch up on podcast episodes, and we have a couple in the tank that are being edited as we speak. You know what I'm saying? And I also wanted to do some YouTubes and stuff for things that I come across that are like, oh, that's crazy, but that I'm not interested enough to do a whole podcast episode about, or it has a visual component. You know what I'm saying? And one of those things is we did episode on the spur of the moment about the New Warriors trailer that went up by Marvel Comics, and it was a little bit to me it was a little bit nutty when I saw this trailer. I was like, what is this trailer about? And I thought it was a troll job. Some people said they think it's very sincere, whatever. But a lot of people said, yo, there's a worse trailer out there, in our opinion, that went under the radar because everybody was focused on the New Warriors one. And I was like, get the F out of here. There's no way Marvel can do something worse. But I mean, arguably this one is pretty bad too. It's and actually let me just put it up. Let me just put it up because it's worth looking at. Oh, congratulations, Sean S, on coming back negative. Oh yeah, so B Scott said the incubation period can be very long, so you can test. But even if it's incubating, it doesn't test positive. It doesn't. Well, we'll pick that up later. Let's see. First things first, let me put the screen on. So this is the trailer. It's called Children of the Atom, and it's a new X-Men book, apparently. I don't read modern comics anymore, but I always kind of follow what's going on in entertainment in general, whether it's something I watch or read or don't watch. Hey, Pusaletso, how's it going? How you feeling? Hey, R. Salisbury. Hey, Liam Fred. Yeah, I don't know why Africa's unaffected. That's a good question. Or relatively unaffected, at least. I have one theory. One theory I have is for all the talk people say about the third world and people of color or whatever, black people and just I find third world people in general, Caribbean, African, a lot of people are very, very into showers and being like super hygienic and stuff. Like there are movements that I notice a lot of people in the first world do, like, oh, you shouldn't shower so much. You're stripping away natural oils, and you never hear movements like that with black people. It just doesn't happen. You will never see those types of things. Like I think we're very, especially when we're not Americanized, we're very obsessive about over shampooing, over washing, and stuff like that. And yeah, I got a feeling a lot of habits naturally in Africa are probably already like social quarantining in general. That would be my guess. I don't know. I mean, it's not, someone might say it's a little racist, but that's what I think personally. If anybody agrees or disagree, y'all can let me know. But here we go. Children of the Atom, 1.4K likes, 11K dislikes, and you can see by the comments they are removing dislikes. Ha 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 ha. Uh, everyone, Marvel, please listen to us. We don't want this. Stop it. Marvel, what's that? Double down and keep putting out trash? Okay. Uh, she's literally laughing because of how stupid the idea is. Like the person in the trailer had. So this is a new woke X-Men, right? And as you can see, this character here is Gambit, but she's a black girl, and that basically gives you an idea of what to expect from this thing. But here we go.
There's so many things I could tease about Children of the Atom, but I will say one thing, and that's new characters.
X-Men is supposed to be something that is,
Wait, hold on. That's on double speed. Okay, here we go.
There's so many things I could tease about Children of the Atom, but I will say one thing, and that's new characters.
X-Men is supposed to be something that is, important to the now. And so what is more now than Zoomers?
Yeah, she said Zoomers.
Children of the Atom has 5 new characters at the heart of it that Vita very meticulously wrote out entire backstories and histories and families and anything you want to know about these characters. Vita has thought about it already.
Now, I want you to pay attention to what they said. They said 5 new characters, right? They said 5 new characters. So you're going to see what is meant by new characters. It's what they mean by new characters is pretty interesting.
One of them.
So basically, there is a female Cyclops, a black man Angel, a black girl Gambit, um, a fat Jean Grey. Like it's just Jean Grey, but fat. And this person is Nightcrawler, and I'm guessing it must be some kind of woke twist on Nightcrawler. I don't know. It looks short, so maybe it's maybe they're in a wheelchair or something that hits the disabled note or whatever. But yeah, but these are the new characters. This is how to get diversity. Just take uh 5 traditionally white uh characters and just make them into women or minorities or just fat, like, you know, just make it body positivity and stuff. And yeah, I mean, okay, let's keep going.
One of them has a TikTok. One of them has a fitness Insta. One of them is basically the moderator for the mutant subreddit.
So so basically they're all influencers. One has a TikTok, one has a fitness Instagram, and one is a moderator of a subreddit. That's what she said. Like they are literally making, so it's just 5 remixed X-Men who are influencers. That's the new characters. That's their character traits, is that they just um they're extremely online and they're just remixed versions of existing characters. So it's like your choice is to either be like the new Warriors, where you're uh Dora the Explorer or um Snowflake or whatever like those characters' names are, or you have cool powers, but you're just a version of a white character, right? and and this thing makes you think of that Steve Buscemi meme. You know that Steve Buscemi meme was like, "Hello, fellow kids." You know what I'm saying? Like, I just picture like Marvel just showing up, like, you know, "Hello, fellow Zoomers," you know, and just popping up with this nonsense. And but the weird thing is, the people they're hiring look this time look kind of young. At least the old guy, the other guy looked like an older white guy out of touch. But you know, they actually gave like some people of color, young people, but they had that Tumblr look though. That's the problem. Like this girl has a super Tumblr look. Like she's got the hipster glasses, the natural hair, the asymmetrical hairstyle and stuff. And so it's, you know, uh, so basically like, these guys are like social justice influencers and stuff. But let's see it. Hold on. The funny thing about her is that, like the commenter said, she used to be laughing herself. She just knows it's ridiculous to say this shit out loud.
One of them is a cosplayer, and the other one.
But why would a superhero be a cosplayer? You're already a superhero. Like why? Like it doesn't make sense. You already dress up as a superhero because you are a superhero. Why would you be a superhero that like they're trying so hard to be relevant to people that that they want to pander to. It doesn't even make sense. So now the superhero is imitating the comics fan who's imitating the superhero. It's just, and that's what I think basically creative endeavors are now. It's just a snake eating its own tail. Uh, People just pandering to people who are just already pandering to people who are already pandering. You know what I'm saying? Like Yakub said, imagine Superman dressing up as Batman. Uh, Sean S said this sounds like he belongs in an episode of 30 Rock. This wouldn't work as 30 Rock or South Park or anything because this is beyond parody. Like, how could you parody this? Like you can't parody this stuff because it's already parodying itself. It's gonna put comedy out of business. A lot of entertainment now. But okay, let's see. Another one makes mutant music.
The other one makes mutant music for so long.
So basically, he has a mutant Bandcamp or a mutant SoundCloud.
It's like the larger media in the X-Men universe is like, mutants are bad and like the X-Men are evil because they're mutants and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what would Zoomers think of that? They would be like, no, they're great. Like,
How the X-Men react to these new characters.
So this is even weirder. They're showing the X-Men next to the ripoff character. So this is the black male X-Man, Angel. This is the black male Angel versus next to the other Angel. The black girl Gambit is next to. Like, why would you highlight how derivative these characters are by putting them next to
characters who are their sidekicks? Is
so okay. Here's something doesn't make sense about this gender swapping and whatever. They took a girl character, Jean Grey, and made her into a guy, but he's a fat guy. But then they made Cyclops into a white woman. I guess she's the leader. I guess that's the upgrade. Like, the woman is now the leader, but like, it's just like a 1-for-1 switch. I don't even understand. And I just like that the guy, like, they just made him. One thing I noticed about superhero comics, right? A lot of superhero artists, they grew up drawing superheroes, learning how to drawing superheroes, and so they only know how to draw like young, nubile, strong people. So I know it's something with a lot of superhero artists. They're being given these body positive characters to draw, and they don't know how to draw fat people. Like, they just make a fat person just a muscular, regular superhero, and they just put like a little bit of punch. Like, that doesn't even sit right. Like, this fat guy does not look like a fat
major
guy.
part of the
He
story
just looks
that
like
is going
a muscular guy. They just, drew 2 curves around his waist
to have
to
all
make
sorts
him
of
let you know he's fat.
ripples through their titles and ours.
but also, it's an X-Men comic. There's going to be powers and there's going to be punching and there's going to be bad guys and all that kind of stuff.
I like how the action and everything is an afterthought. Like, it's just by the way, don't worry, there's gonna be some fighting and superpowers in here. Like, oh, thanks, great, wonderful, yeah. This is it's funny, man. Like, Marvel just got the rights back to the X-Men, and they're going to incorporate the X-Men into the MCU, right? And it's kind of funny that just in time for uh Marvel to make movies about the X-Men, and this would be a great time to push the comic books. So just throwing like sheer crap out there, like this is what's going to be in place and waiting when people get interested in looking at what's going on in the comic books, but yeah, so I mean, let's see the rest of this trailer.
I'm very excited to have Vita Ayala and Bernard Chang as part of this title.
Bernard really, really brought the thunder on this. It's really incredibly dynamic.
Because he not only had to design these superhero identities, but also these civilian identities and like people's moms and like their little brother. And he's making these characters real and whole in a way that a lot of artists probably couldn't.
X-Men was some of my first comics ever. And to be able to play in that universe and also to add to that universe is some of my first comics ever. Like X-Men was some of my first comics ever. And
okay, there goes like the fat guy again, which again does not really look like a proper fat guy. He just drew an extra wide muscular guy, right? But
to be able to play in that universe.
This part I don't get. Why are you highlighting how derivative these characters are? Like, they're showing side by side. They're doing everything they can to just highlight. There is nothing new going on here.
And also to add to that universe is really a dream come true.
So if you've never read an X-Men book before and you're only familiar with them in other mediums, this is a great place to start off.
It's almost like...
So they're even saying that they want this to be people's first X-Men comic. Why would this be anybody's first X-Men comic? Why would you start with the carbon copy? Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, you're basically starting with a carbon copy. No one's really going to be intuitively caring about these people because they're just rip-offs of someone else. They're just going to want to see what the original thing was. Well, I don't know if it's even worth finishing this thing. Let me see.
Almost like the kids are our perspective. So anything that you don't know, you're discovering it through these kids. I don't think we've seen this perspective in X-Men comics before. And I think people are going to super dig it.
Yeah, it's going to get canceled. It's going to get canceled. I mean, I'm not even saying, I'll tell you this, I don't even think there's that a woke comic has to be bad. I think you can make a woke comic and make it good. I actually wouldn't mind seeing like challenge accepted, someone make a woke comic, but these people are just lazy about it. They're lazy and gimmicky about it. Like, I think a lot of these people, they cut their teeth on Tumblr, and I think Tumblr is a very low attention span medium. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's not. It's just quickie concepts and fan fiction and stuff like that, and like they get promoted into these jobs before they're ready for prime time, and they don't even have the chops to really do a straight up comic with a real narrative, backstory, subplots. It seems like this is just like they have this person in charge of Marvel now who is very big into recruiting diverse and whatever voices. And it's like someone said, I was just gonna say this. B. Scott said it's like the Elizabeth Warren campaign. That's exactly what it's like. They just they don't really know a lot of black people or minority people. Don't really follow like scenes that are organically diverse. So they just pluck off the social justice influencer um scene, and that's what I think these people are. These people are people who are good at getting followers of other weirdos on Tumblr or on Twitter and stuff. And these people are like, hey, this person seems to be a black person people listen to. You know, meanwhile, these people have no organic connection to any of these communities, black, Hispanic, um, queer, whatever. They're just like a bunch of outcasts who found a little home in little pockets of Tumblr or Twitter with other outcasts, and you know they let the inmates run the asylum, and then they just do their social justice influencing ADD ideas, dump him onto the market, and then it just keeps like flopping, you know. But all these people are gonna fail upward. I guarantee you. What I'm curious about what's gonna happen is I think because everyone is going crazy, in general, like with media, I think these people are eventually going to start getting jobs in the TV and the movies because what happens what happens with a lot of this stuff is when even though these people keep tanking properties, for some reason they kind of don't get in trouble. They kind of just keep failing upwards, and their names keep growing and their opportunities keep growing despite the fact that everything they does is just tanks or doesn't work. It doesn't actually hurt the actual creators, these new creators that they're getting. So I'm worried about when they start bringing this stuff to and I think we're really starting to see signs of it. Like the MCU has had some like cringe. The last Marvel movies I saw had some pretty cringe things. Like there was a scene in Avengers Endgame where in the middle of a fight, all the women just congregate on one corner of the um battleground and have a girl power moment, and that just seems like the kind of thing that would come out of one of these modern Marvel comics. And I think the tail's going to start wagging the dog in the worst way possible, even though I think the comics are pretty fringe right now, and that pretty much the movie universe is the main universe and the comics one is like the afterthought. I think when it comes to this stuff, the diversity stuff, it's going to go the other way around. They're going to take the cue from uh, the Marvel comics actual comics line as far as the diversity and wokeness. And uh, we'll see. Liam Fred said, "Why do you think Marvel is paying for this?" I think in general with media now and with the internet, I think media in general is run by a lot of olds who can't figure out what's happening because everything's precarious now across media. Movies, there's too much competition. There's movies, there's video games, there's DVD, there's Netflix, there's streaming, there's 40 networks, there's sports packages, there's Spotify. So it's like they don't have the captive audience that they used to have. Everything is kind of very precarious. That's why there's no risky movies anymore. Every movie is a major franchise, a major property, or is a sequel, or is a remake, or a rehashed thing. They're very afraid of taking any chances. The only chances that they're taking is in horror because those tend to be low budget things, sort of like low risk, so they don't have to make that much to be profitable. So if you notice, the only interesting new properties coming out, will be like Hereditary, Get Out, all these like small horror movies and stuff. But yeah, so they're doing this stuff. So I think um young people in the media landscape right now is very hard to track for people because there's so much stuff going on, so many trends coming and going. The internet culture is so ephemeral. Everything just poof poof. Now it's TikTok, now it's this, now it's that. um for example, you saw in this thing, the woman was talking about how these new characters, she says one has a TikTok, one has a SoundCloud, one has this. These olds, they have no idea what any of this is. So when this young person comes in the door and dazzles them with how much they know about what's out there, they think, okay, we got someone who is a young people whisperer. This is a person who understands media. You know what it's like? Say you're somebody who doesn't know how to fix a car. You know nothing about cars, right? Now, if you know even a little bit about cars, if you bring your car to a mechanic and he starts bullshitting you, even if you don't fully understand how he's bullshitting you, you might know just enough where you're like, are you sure? Because usually it doesn't happen. Once a mechanic hears you know a little bit, they're gonna want to stop bullshitting you because they're like, okay, he's not a total idiot about cars. If I keep bullshitting him, because I don't know just how much he knows, I might get caught at even more bullshit. So let me tread carefully. But if you're somebody who knows nothing about cars, the same way these olds running the media know nothing about Zoomers and millennials and the current landscape, like if you know nothing about cars, that crooked mechanic, after one or two lies and bullshit and realizing you're not calling him on it, just realizes they can just go to town and tell you every single thing is wrong with the car they can think of. And you just have to sit there and be like, well, I guess that sounds good. What do I know? Take all my money. It's like that Futurama thing. Take my money. It sounds good. That's what I think is going on. I think that's why they're giving these people all this money. These people are so out of touch with what's going on. These people come in with their asymmetrical haircuts and their Tumblr art and their knowledge of all this stuff going on in media and their big follower counts. And these companies are like, look, the shareholder report is coming soon. We don't know what's going on. We have to give ideas. A lot of our rehashes and reboots are failing or stagnating. You seem to have a direct conduit to the kids. You seem to be a kid yourself. You seem to have a lot of followings. Nobody realizes these people's followers don't actually spend money. They're just people who post online and complain about things. You know what I'm saying? So these people will just throw money at them. And one thing these people will do, at least they're good at, is creating buzz. Like you see these trailers, it's negative buzz, but it's buzz. And in this current um, media landscape, I think outrage marketing, people feels better than no marketing. It's something. It's it's making more noise than their traditional stuff. Even though when the smoke clears, their traditional stuff probably actually sells more. It's it's getting the buzz. it's it's getting the buzz, So I mean, what can you do? It's getting the buzz. So they're just gonna keep doing it. And I think that's the problem. Um and even if it keeps flopping, I think the idea is, as long as you keep getting buzz and eyeballs, you're throwing everything against the walls and seeing what sticks. Eventually something's going to hit. Like, that's what I think, the addiction that all media, film, TV, publishing, all this stuff. They're doing a lot of outrage marketing, quick buzz, um, a lot of quick buzz, and just hoping that one of these things, as long as we just keep getting eyeballs, even if we get a fraction of those eyeballs to buy the book, or maybe something will eventually stick. So yeah, I think that's what it is. They have nothing better to do, no matter how bad these people's things sound. Um, Lions Art Page said, I slightly disagree with Ricky on one thing. I don't think Bernard Chang was trying to draw a fat character, but trying to draw a strongman, powerlifter body type. I mean, maybe. I mean, the only reason I kind of disagree is because the guy's arms are really ripped. I think that's kind of what, like a lot of powerlifter guys, like big and bulky, but they don't really have like those ripped arms and legs. Like my thing is the arms and legs kind of have like 5%, 10% body fat. You know what I'm saying? But he's got the belly, and that's, so I semi agree with you. Like, the stockiness of the body reminds me of um a power lifter, but the limbs and stuff just seem too toned, is what I think. But I mean, I respect your opinion. I think you could be right, I could be wrong. That's fair. um but like you said in your follow-up comment, like, if he's gonna be Jean Grey, it doesn't make a difference anyway, because why does he even have to be built like that, regardless? But yeah. But anyway, if you're not already following, follow, like, subscribe. This was just a quick thing I wanted to talk about, and get people's thoughts on. And I'm thinking in general, like, there's gonna be more and more of this stuff going on, this outrage, marketing, this it's interesting that I had already talked about how people's only idea for who to hire now in any industry, and not just like movies, comics, TV, or whatever, but even anything, even like traditional jobs like law, business, executives, like, you have to be an influencer now, I think, to get hired in anything. Like journalists now expect to be influencers. Like, I know people who are in journalism school, when they go to journalism interviews, they ask them what their follower count is. And a lot of journalists are kind of required to go on Twitter or social media and develop follower counts. And, like, everyone's expecting you to be your own brand, to manage. You're kind of this neoliberal thing of managing your own brand, being your own brand, bringing your own following, bringing your own portfolio of built-in readers, and then selling yourself with your following as a package, rather than just going by the quality of your work. So it's like, with journalism, I know a guy whose nephew is being scouted for college basketball. He's in high school, and he asked me, "Hey, can you follow my nephew's Twitter? He doesn't use social media, and all the advisors and coaches are telling him that these colleges look at your social media following, when picking who to draft. Like, if you and another basketball player are like very similar, and it's both very close, and they could choose one of you, they're gonna choose the one that has the higher influencer status," which I thought was crazy. 'Cause I thought, at least with sports is as objective as it gets. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's pretty objective. Ball into hole, boom. But so now, even with that, they're looking at how good an influencer you are when things are close. right? So I already knew by that they're hiring influencers to be everything, including writers. But what's even weirder now is that now these influencers are making the characters in the books influencers, which is even weirder. Like so now, uh, before she told us what the X-Men's powers were, or what their personalities were, or what their stories were, she told us all their social media platforms first. That was her leading thing. That was what she thought that the Zoomers would care most about. And I think it's a real disrespect to the audience. Like, I think the audience is better than that. Like we give um generational people a hard time and stuff. I think at the end of the day, everyone just wants a good story to relate to. So that was the part that I kind of didn't predict with this influencer industrial complex, this new move. I didn't expect that they would start actually making people in the content influencers and making that the primary thing. But I guess you write what you know, and I guess it makes sense this would happen if you think about it. It makes sense that if you hire people whose only contribution to anything is knowing how to be influencers and be extremely online, when they have to rank people, that's what they're going to write about. They don't really have any other information base to draw from. So I'm very interested to see if this will just keep happening. If we're just going to have a load of quote unquote new characters, even though all these new characters, like, Miles Morales and all these other characters, are just like race bent and gender bent versions of existing characters. They're all just going to be primarily defined by their social media presences and stuff. I mean, who knows? I don't actually read these comics, even though I track what goes on in just media in general. So, if anybody reads these comics, feel free to let me know if they're any good. If you like these comics, if how comics are doing in general, as far as what you read. Oh, Yakub sent made a good comment, and I think it was Kenny that might have said this, but he said one of your co-hosts said it best: "You can't eat attention. Once they're done losing money and destroy the brand, they'll eventually figure things out." Yeah, that is true. Even though every time they seem to figure it out, because Marvel did this movement where they made all their characters like female or minority, like they had a female Thor and everything. Then the backlash was pretty bad. They reverted everything back. All the old characters ended up taking over. The white Captain America came back from the black Captain America. The male Thor came back from the female Thor. But every time they kind of self-correct, they come back and they push these things. And I have another theory too. I think the reason why a lot of these failing ventures keep getting made is because they kind of don't have to work in the long run in the comics, because once the character is introduced, once the character is introduced, they start making the characters children's books and other media. So, for example, if I create like the black female Iron Man, right? Um, I do it for Marvel. It fails. Okay, whatever. But then once the um once the character fails, the comic book doesn't do good or gets canceled. What ends up happening, and I'll give you guys an example, is eventually they make stuff like this. Because when I go to bookstores, I've been noticing a lot of books like this, where the book will basically be a children's book with the new race bent characters. I don't know if you guys can see this. I'll try and put it in the screen. So they make these books with these race bent characters, and then I think these people get royalties and revenues from that, or they get hired to write these children's books. They put books also in they put these books also in these characters in cartoons, like they'll put these different characters in cartoons, and I think what these people end up getting work and money from that. And I think a lot of times people just want to push their ideas and their agendas, that they're influencing about, and their representation into the media ecology. So they don't care how it gets there. Once it gets introduced in the comic, even if the comic gets canceled, they can now push the characters in TV shows. They can push the characters in toys. They can push the character in children's books, and the children's books get put into library programs where the library buyers are encouraged to buy these books. So if you go to a lot of these children's sections in the library, these characters will be filling up the shelves with these new Disney children's books. So there's, you know, Kilster also put, maybe it's cheaper to hire an influencer than finding an actual and promising writer, perhaps. I think that's true as well. I think a lot of these people probably work for cheap. And because they are influencers, they just like the idea of being on big platforms. And a lot of how influencers work is this idea that let me get my name out there first, and then money will come later. Like step one, exposure. Step two, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step three, get paid more money, more money, more money. So yeah, I think that's kind of the gamble a lot of them do. And for a lot of them, it works out. Like, eventually one or two influencers will actually find a way to make a lot of money. They won't make a lot of money by actually moving units, but they'll make money by getting hired for bigger and bigger high profile projects and getting paychecks for them. Um, yeah, but thanks everybody. That's pretty much it. And if y'all have any other funny videos or ideas you want to see us talk about, by all means, email at champagnesharks@gmail.com. Go to patreon.com/champagne sharks to become a subscriber, get extra episodes of the podcast, newsletter, etc. We're sending another newsletter out today. And just listen to the podcast in general, anywhere you listen to podcasts, Stitcher, iTunes, whatever. Champagne Sharks. Just Google Champagne Sharks. And we appreciate y'all. Much love. Take care.